This video is brought to you by Sporlan, quality, integrity, and tradition. Well, today we are replacing this old door. This thing is beat up. It's time to replace it. Separating, bending, all that. We're putting a bolt-on door, so it's going to go around over here. We're waiting for the door to get here, so as soon as we do, we'll break these tiles off, because the new door, you'll see, will fit. We got to redo this electrical because it's going to have to come through. This guy, this is a twist timer. It's a pump down timer. We got to redo that, make it come through the door. And we got to worry about that vacuum breaker. We might have to turn that slightly. But we're just waiting on the door to get here. It'll be here in a few minutes, and then we'll get pulling this thing apart. One thing that we do have to be careful about in here is this. This is a panic alarm right here. And that panic alarm is a silent alarm to the police. If they're getting robbed, they're supposed to run into the walk-ins, bolt the door from the inside. You can see they got bolts. And then flip that, and the police come code blue. So we got to call the alarm company and put that on test, because I have seen those things get set off when we've been banging on the doors and stuff like that. So we're going to be careful about that. The other thing we have to consider is all right here, behind here, is unprotected electrical lines ran inside the box. They don't use conduit, and if they do, it's just plastic conduit, because in the past, people mounting these right here have broken the wiring. The only plus side is that the electrical comes from here in the wall. The main electrical coming into the box comes from here, then it runs to the different places. You see, like that's running to the sweep heater, or to the mullion heater, vacuum breaker, whatever you want to call it. So we got to be careful about that too. So we'll bring, just kind of getting prepared, and we're going to have them call the alarm company and put that on test. And we got our new door right here. So we're just going to verify the 34 by 84 ID opening. And then after that, we'll start taking the other door off, get this one in there. These doors, they last about 2 to 3 years. They get beat up. They're pretty fragile. So, yeah, whatever. This is all the goodies that it comes with. The light switch, the thermometer, door closure. They send you a can of spray foam. They also give you trim to trim around it. It's not like going to be perfection, but they look decent when you're done with them. Looks like they did not give me a mounting spot for the twist timer that's on the wall. So we're going to have to do something with that. Did they even give us a mounting spot for the light switch? Oh yeah, they did give us a light switch. Whether or not it's in the right spot is another thing. They tend to ignore that. Yeah, okay, cool. We're just going to measure this thing.
All right, we're taking everything off on the door, and we're just turned off power, because we're going to hardwire this light switch in here temporarily. That way we can test fit the door on and off. Okay, so what we did was we hardwired the power. So this is the hot leg, and we just capped the neutral. And then this is the old door heater circuit, so we'll deal with that here in a little bit. The door is loose. We're basically ready to pull it off. The lights are on. That way we can work inside the box. And then now we're just going to bring the new door in and test fit it. And then we got to bust these tiles out right here. Okay, so we're gonna pop these tiles. So we just kind of break the grout along and then just do it in a couple spots, and then basically you can just peel the tile off the wall as one piece. At least that's the hope. So that way, you know, there's something that the people that are gonna repair this can work with. We try not to break them if we don't have to. And then we're gonna do one over on the other side. That way the frame can fit all the way in there. Now we're gonna take the hinges off, so that way we can work with just the frame. These jobs are never always just cookie cutter. There's always a problem. So we can't get the threshold in the door back far enough because of the existing threshold. So we have to lift that up, get all the screws and rivets out, and then we're going to try to see what other problems we can run into. And of course, I hurt myself. I cut my finger. But the best bandage, paper towel and some electrical tape. Don't over tighten it. It'll last the whole job. Now we've got to get in here. There's a bunch of like leftover grout and just like nastiness. That's kind of in the way too. So we're just going to rip that heater out and chip away some of this grout, so that way that whole threshold can push in. All right, we got the door set, and we're using clamps, or at least the frame. Those clamps are great. They hold it in place so that way we can drill it out, drill the holes. We chipped all that grout out, and now we're basically getting it to fit super tight. You want these gaps on the side to be super tight. And then we also loosened the threshold and adjusted it so it goes with the pitch of the floor. So we'll got to really pay attention though that it doesn't pinch the heater off. But I mean, the gaps look good all the way through. Everything else we can offset. and make it look good. Okay, so we're starting by drilling some holes, but something we're concerned about is the electrical. And if you look, it's running down out of that box, and then it must be turning and going up somewhere. So there's a possibility we might hit those wires. So we turned off power, and we're just prepared in case we do. We'll have to find the power somewhere else and repair it.
All right, we got holes drilled here up in the top corner. So far we didn't hit any electrical, we just turned the power back on. So we're gonna get this bolted up and then do a test fit on the door. So this door has double gaskets inside, and it's got this and then another one. You're looking at how it's clamping down on the gaskets, and right up here it's kind of loose because we don't have a bolt here. We only have bolts in the top and then down here. So they didn't send enough, but luckily we have more. So we're gonna try to put a bolt right here on each side to see if it snugs it up a little bit more. But so far, I mean, that gap is really good all the way. This side's not open like the other side, but we're still gonna put another one in there. But yeah, it fits good. That turned out good. We'll be able to put something on top of that. We just gotta make sure that the heater's not damaged or anything. And then we gotta dry up all that moisture, silicone under there. We're getting ready to test fit this door, but we're gonna drill these other two first. So we got the door on, but now it's not fitting and it's binding. So this is the kind of stuff we're looking for. It's like really binding. What the heck? Something's happening. We got hinges wrong or something. So we got to fix some things. All right, we ended up fixing the hinge. It wasn't loaded right. We got that taken care of. Now this is slightly binding, but what you want to see is without a closure, you want this to be effortless, and it is. But it kind of hits right here, which is typical. The door closure is going to do that. But one big thing, because we had to angle the threshold, I'm going to show you what I see from in here. There's a pretty big gap underneath. So we're going to have to get a bigger door sweep for this. There is a heater under there, so that's a plus. The heaters are going to help, but we're going to have to get a bigger door sweep. But other than that, we're looking pretty good. So I've got this rubber door sweep material. That's what we're going to try to use. Now, something to remember, I didn't like order this door. The customer orders these themselves, okay? So, you know, in a perfect world, we'd have a totally differently designed door. But this is what we get, so we have to make it work. So we're going to do our best to see if we can get this heater to work, or this sweep to work. Now that sweep does have a heater on the bottom of the door, so we got to hope that it's not going to become a problem. I think we'll be okay, but I'm going to try to make this taller door sweep so that way it fills the gaps. All right, we changed the sweep. Really got just light in those tiny corners right there. So we're looking good. All right, we got the door shutting. We turned the power on. We're going to go do lunch. We're going to bring the box down to temp. When we come back, we'll trim it up and do the electrical and everything. We still got to mount a switch. We got to mount the twist timer. We're going to move the twist timer out here for the wall. Then we got to run power for this frame heater. So we still got some work to do, but we're getting there. Looks good. We'll leave it running for now, bring the box down to 10. All right, we got power shut off to everything again. We just got back from lunch. Box has been running while we were gone. We need to extend these wires because these aren't going to be long enough. So I'm going to extend them, make them long so that we have room to pull the whole light switch out. I'm working on the ground right now. And then Will's over here dealing with running stuff through on this one. And we're just working our way through. This is the heater. So we're going to get that hooked up. And then there's a door heater that has to hook into that. And then we got to do the twist timer for the electrical. We're going to start drying this out with silicone all underneath. And then we'll tell them to get a tile guy to finish it up. This tool right here, Knipix. It is a, where's the part number? There you go, 1108160. This thing is one of the coolest wire strippers. When your wires are too short, you can stick them into there. You set the depth, whatever you want. I have like 16 gauge wire, then you could stick it in and strip. And you don't got to get your whole wire stripper in there. You don't use it all the time, but when you need it, this thing comes in clutch.
All right, these light switches are always tricky. Make sure you're following the right schematic, okay? We just confirmed that black is my 115 to ground. Red is my load. There's no power to ground on that one. And then neutral is white, right? So we just verified it by turning power on and actually checking with a meter. So now we're ready to put the switch in the wall. And here goes nothing. 1, 2, 3. It didn't blow up. That's a plus. I turned the flash off, and you can see the pilot light actually works correctly. All right, we make sure that we silicone inside on both sides of a hole that you drill. That way no moisture can come through, and it helps to prevent ice buildup. And this is my pump down timer and my twist timer. And same thing, we silicone the heck all behind it, the penetration, the other side. because these timers are so susceptible to moisture. All right, so we got all the electrical done. It's not perfect, but we just grabbed existing power, ran down to there for the twist timer, and then to that for the heater and the light. And then we spray foamed. Yeah, we spray foamed, and then we used some blue tape just to hold the foam in temporarily, just while it's kind of setting, so that way it doesn't drip down on us. And then we're just getting ready to put the metal trim on now. We got the bottom done. We siliconed. You see how we filled it with silicone? That's just temporary. The tile guys can make it look pretty, but we just put it in there. That way it keeps moisture out and then doesn't create a problem. We screwed the threshold down. Everything's shutting, working. Again, just time to do the trim. All right, working on the door trim. They come with these angled pieces already. They give these to us. So we're just kind of trimming them out, notching them out. It's not perfect. It's not going to win a beauty contest. We got it all the way up, and you do them one at a time. You can see the spray foam. And then down here, we kind of notching it out in the bottom. We're trying to make the screws all even. Some more of the trim here. We're cutting it super tight on this piece. You can see the gaps are just super tiny. We're just going to cut a hair more, but you can see the gaps. We'll just use some silicone to seal that up. It's not a big deal. We're making sure that the door heaters are working. That's good. They've got current. This is not going to be perfect, but we caulked around the bottom. We don't worry about that black section right there. It's, again, you try hard, it's going to look even worse. So you can see old holes, but it's all trimmed out. The thermometer's installed. All right, it's been about 4 days since I was last here. I wanted to verify, just follow up. Everything's looking great, no problems. Customers happy, no ice buildup on that door sweep. I was a little worried, but all is well. All right, freezer door install went good. So those are customer supplied doors. They hand us the doors, or they actually ship them to us, and then we just bring them out and install them. Not my favorite. You know, there's a few things about them that I'm not completely in love with, but it is what it is. They last a couple years. It's all good. I will say that, you know, I was a little bit worried about the door sweep, but went back. It's been, I'm just leaving the restaurant right now for the last clip, but it's been about 5 days since I was here last. No ice buildup, no excessive condensation or anything like that. The Moleon heater seems to be doing a good job to heat up where I added that extra rubber for the sweep. So that seems to go well. I do wanted to explain one little incident that happened while I was on site, and I'll show you guys right now. If we look right here, so when I was on site, we were just finishing up, and I was using the silicone, right? And I was caulking all the way around the door. Now, this isn't the one that I was using. This is the one that I prefer. This one has this piece and you cut the end off, right? But the silicone that I was using is the one that the tip doesn't come off. You have to cut the end and then you pierce it. And my caulking gun right here has this little tool that comes out, and you notice it's kind of sharp. Well, I wasn't paying attention, and it went into my finger. It went right through my gloves, into the webbing between my knuckles right there, and my entire hand went numb when that happened. And about 10 minutes later, the numbness wore off and it started to hurt. Obviously, I don't know how far it went in because I had gloves on, but I'd guess it probably went in about 1/4 of an inch. It hit a nerve clearly, or something, tendon, I don't know, whatever, but it hurt. Interesting thing is that it didn't bleed. It just made that little mark. The thing that worried me the most was it started to hurt and then it swelled up. And then I was considering going to urgent care, but I ended up not going to urgent care. But it's been a couple days, went through the weekend. All ended up being okay. I still got a little bit of pain, but it doesn't seem like any signs of infection or anything like that. I was kind of monitoring it. The swelling went down. There was no bump between my knuckles for the weekend, basically, because I was taking Advil and stuff. But I was really concerned about the silicone because that went in there, and I'm wondering if the silicone sealed the thing, because it didn't even bleed. It just made that mark right there. But boy, was that crazy. I couldn't believe that went in, and it's sharp enough. I wasn't paying attention, and because when you do these caulking guns, you'll pull it out and you push it in, and if you only do it once, if you only pierce it once, it doesn't work. So you pierce it a bunch of times and you try to move it around inside there to pierce, the little area multiple times. Well, yeah, when I pulled it out, apparently I wasn't paying attention and I shoved it back in and it went into my glove instead. So dumb of me. Don't rush through things. I'm lucky that nothing bad happened from that, at least not yet. It's been, I think, 5 days, so everything's good. It's still a little sore, but other than that, all is well. But yeah, don't be like me. Be cautious and don't
rush through things because that hurt. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. It's a great way to help support the channel. The easiest way to support this channel really is be subscribed and watch the videos from beginning to end. That really is the easiest way. There's a couple other methods. You can support it via PayPal, Patreon, YouTube channel memberships. Those are all ways, you know, you can make monetary commitments. You can also go to my website, HVACRvideos.com, where we have merchandise available, beanies, sweatshirts, t-shirts, hats. The sweatshirts and the t-shirts were on closeout. We're not going to be bringing those back in stock at this time. So what's there is there, and when they're gone, they're gone. But the hats and beanies and stickers, those things sell like hotcakes. So those will be in stock. You know, we don't really push our merch very much. We don't step on it very much. My hats, I make $5 off of every hat. Kind of the same with the shirts. The sweatshirts, we actually don't make any money because I discounted them just to sell them. So we're losing money with the sweatshirts, but it's all good. I just want to clear them out because my house is so full of them. I placed such a large order 3 years ago that it's just ridiculous. But yeah, HVACRvideos.com. Last but not least, you can go to TrueTechTools.com. If you see me using any tools in my video, a good majority of the time I purchase them from TrueTechTools.com. I have an affiliate program set up with them. So if you use my affiliate link, big picture, one word, at checkout, you can get a discount at checkout on majority of the items on their website. There's a few things it doesn't apply to, but it's another great way to help support the channel. When you do use my affiliate code, I get a small commission. You know, it's kind of a win-win for you. You get cool tools from a great company, and then I get a small commission from it. So it's a great way. Again, big picture, one word, at checkout at TrueTechTools.com. Thank you so very much. I really do appreciate you, and we will catch you on the next one.